What did you make of what Raya had to say? Have Sunderland established a blueprint for what to do against Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I think there is an element of physicality when you play against Arsenal, which you do have to sort of reach. But then also you have to take your moments. And I think for Sunderland themselves, the way that they've started the season doing so well in the league, the belief that they have with their fans in the stadium as well, and in the game itself, they're just super competitive. I think David Raya made the point, they've come up from the Championship and so on. But if you look at most of that team, most of them weren't in the campaign last season from the Championship. So it's just new to them. But this is how they're going to play. They're going to go toe-to-toe with absolutely anybody. They're not going to try and outpass you. They're not necessarily just going to shell it long all the time. But you know that if you're going to be getting points from them, you're going to have to earn the right to do that. And I think Arsenal basically felt that as of other teams in recent weeks. This is a Sunderland team that beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge not too long ago as well. But I think to sort of add on to what he was saying, that defensive side of things for Arsenal, I think that love for defending. Once upon a time in sort of my career, you'd hear that in Italy when you'd see goalkeepers high-fiving defenders when they make a tackle and so on. But, for those guys, that's how they do it. They're good defenders individually and they're committed to defending as a collective, and that is from front to back. And that's what makes Arsenal really soft. So in some ways, it was a surprise to see them concede 2 goals away at Sunderland, not least of all because the 2 goals essentially were quite simple. There's somebody missing an assignment from a throw-in, so Dan Ballard basically pushes his way through and scores. And then for the second goal, is it the goalkeeper's ball? Is it the defender's ball? No, it's Brian Broby's ball because he's committed and thrown himself at it. And those are the sort of things which we don't really see Arsenal give up very often. So, yeah, it's a nice reminder for them, but they're still a very strong defensive unit.
Yeah, he threw himself at it, and the man doing the interview wasn't quite as committed, was he, the goalkeeper? if we're being honest about it.
Right.
He came out a little hesitant because he knew there was going to be physical contact. Had he really thrown himself out there and outstretched his arms to punch it, he may have just have got there before the attacker and put it in the back of the net. Look, is this ESPN FC finding the crack in the Arsenal? Notice how I said that, as if it's not me. Is this the FC way of finding the crack in Arsenal? This is how you get it.
Yeah.
Arsenal can be physical against every team. We've talked about it. This is part of their game that they are equipped to deal with, or should be. They have some of the biggest, most physical players in the Premier League. Here's the news for you. If you're the bulk of the Premier League teams and you try and go toe-to-toe with Arsenal in a game of football, you're probably going to lose, or you're going to come out second best. So you have to find a different way. Long balls, throw-ins, getting it forward quicker, squeezing them in, crosses into the box, being a bit more physical. You're going to have to use all of that, because if you try and take them on in a head-to-head game, they're going to get the better of you. So Sunderland have been very good at that. They've been very good when they've come up to the Premier League about understanding what works for them. The Chelsea game was a classic example. They sat in for long periods of the game and defended stoically and got the result. So, yeah, this is just, one for Arsenal that got away. But, if you think you can just roll this Arsenal team over and that's their weak point, I would disagree with that.
Right, that is the problem, isn't it, Gab? If this is the blueprint to get the better of this Arsenal defence, how many other teams in the Premier League can play this way? Fulham aren't playing this way.
No, look, I mean, this was the right way for Sunderland to approach it. But let's not get carried away here. Those goals featured 2, I think, massive individual errors from 2 players who happen to have been 2 of Arsenal's best players this season, Declan Rice and Gabriel. If you want to give some blame to Raya as well, sure. But, Declan Rice misjudges the flight of the ball in the first one, and Gabriel gets bullied by Brian Broby, one of the few players who probably is heavier than he is. These guys don't make many mistakes. Occasionally, even the very best make individual errors. It happened. Move on. If these guys make individual errors like this next week too, and the week after, sure, then we can talk about maybe things not working in the system, or we can talk about blueprints that work against them. But, somebody slipping on a banana peel does not make you a genius. Put it that way.
Yeah. All right, finally, it's International Week, so we've had a bunch of interviews, as you might.
They're the nearest challengers to Arsenal. Do you see any reason at this stage to pump the brakes a little bit on Manchester City, or are you all in?
I'm still all in on Arsenal.
Right.
With this version of Arsenal, because the problem last few years was was experience. There was did they have the centre forward? They looks like they've got someone in who can help them in that department. The players have all they look more mature. They're not conceding goals.
But City have won it before.
And yes.
So why would you not have more confidence in them from this stage, knowing
Because
that they've
I
got that
think
experience
the
to fall back
jeopardy,
on?
if Haaland misses 3-4 weeks of the season and he misses 5 or 6 games, they can't afford too many slip-ups.
What if he doesn't?
If he doesn't...
This is the narrative at the minute. They're over-reliant on Haaland. If he gets an injury, City can't. What if he doesn't?
When you come to the business end of the season and you're still in the Champions League, I think if they don't start Haaland and he's just not missing games for injury, just resting him because we've got whoever on a Champions League night in 3 days later, we may need to rest him. Arsenal rest any of their players, it's the same. Like Haaland, we can honestly say there's no replacement for Haaland, regardless of who it is. It's probably Harry Kane is the only one in world football. So I just think that one element to their team is, it's like when we spoke about Rodri, it was so reliant on Rodri because the replacement wasn't the same. And I think that's the same now with Haaland.
Is the best version of Manchester City better than the best version of Arsenal, or the other way around?
Cool.
Gone deep question, isn't it?
You've hit me with that one.
I don't think it's that deep.
Do you think they are?
I think best City are better than the best Arsenal.
Well, I'm leaning. I don't think I don't think it's as clear cut as that. But I probably would lean towards the best City slightly better than the best. I mean, they're both. I mean, think about it. I mean, the best City with Haaland firing against the best defence. So straight away, what a contest that is. You know what I mean? I mean, it's unbelievable. I probably lean that way, yeah.
You see, going to Joe, you like the depth
I like
for
Arsenal,
don't you?
I still like
Do you?
Yeah, but I like Arsenal for maybe for different reasons, because I'm saying Arsenal's worst isn't that far from their best.
Do you still think Arsenal's best is better than Man City's best?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. It's marginal.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's nothing in it. I just think there's something in that group of players. I think the best this new version of Manchester City, they might win it this year. They could do. I think they'll win it next year. But this is Arsenal's year. It has to be Arsenal's year, because I tell you what would happen if Arsenal don't win nothing this year, and this ain't me causing trouble. There's about 3 or 4 of their players who'll be thinking, this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's Declan Rice up for a contract. You know, so they have to do it this year.
The only thing I would say for City is, I think when the push comes to shove, because Arsenal haven't done it yet, these guys have done it. So I would say City are ahead. The only thing stopping Man City is the right back. I think Pep's doing a good job of kind of creating a right back in Nunez there, but you think what Arsenal have in terms of replacements, Lewis Skelly and California at left back, you've got Ben White and Timber at right back. I think that's the only position, I think, for City.
Let's kind of bring Arsenal in there. We'll swing to Liverpool in a minute, who City beat. They're relying on set pieces. They don't score a lot in general play. They don't concede many, even though they were a little bit sloppy defensively against Sunderland at the weekend. What would the reservations be about Arsenal getting it done? And they're doing it
The
right now
reservations
from the
would
top
be
of
that
the table.
they've not done it. Yeah. That's the big reservation. However, I don't know whether the boys agree. I just smell something different about Arsenal this year. You know.
But it hasn't mattered yet, really. They're not under pressure yet.
That's a fair question.
You know, they've crumbled in the past from kind of March onwards. This is November.
Well, I mean, time will tell. We're aware of that, but I don't know, Fletch. I just look at them and I can just kind of smell something different about them this year. Whether it's a belief, I don't know whether it's a togetherness. Certainly the squad is as strong as an Arsenal squad we've ever seen. I don't know, I just think it's a little bit different this year.
I think if it becomes a shootout where they, on like close points where they have to win, I think City can win if they have to. I think Arsenal cannot lose if they don't have to. That's what they think. So I think Arsenal's worst isn't that far from their best. I think they're so consistent where City, if they're bad, they could lose 2 out of 5.
Is it more intimidating having Manchester City on your shoulder than Liverpool in a title race?
It's like choosing, what do you want to be chased by, a grizzly bear or a lion? They're both going to eat you if they catch up. You just got to go blinkers on and run.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting caught either way.
Yeah, me too, Coisty. I don't know if I drop the shoulder, maybe I might nick half a yard. I'm still getting caught.